see, I got this little guy dressed for the day, and I thought he was going to go back to sleep, but he woke up on me. So I am going to go ahead and feed him a little bit while I discuss a topic. It's some questions that I seem to get a lot on my channel. A lot of times it's mostly with Kelsey's box opening. I seem to get that a lot. A lot of people just happen to run across her video and that's how they find my channel. So hopefully this will clear some things up instead of answering the questions individually. So let me go ahead. This little boy can eat a lot. I'm going to give him about 4 ounces on this Tommy Tippy bottle. I hope you guys can still see him. I'm trying to position him where he's still in view. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. I've had this question. How do I find cheap babies or cheap reborns? What I constitute as cheap and what you constitute as cheap are two different things. I don't know what your pocket looks like. So I don't know what you mean by cheap. And then also, what are you looking for in that baby as well? Just that question alone. It's other questions that go along with that. So it's hard to answer that question. And by any means, none of my babies were cheap, not by my standards at all. I don't consider any of them to have been cheap for me. Probably for somebody else, but not me. And people seem to ask me, how much do they cost? I do not discuss prices, not at all. I will not do it. What I do when people ask me that, I refer them to the artist's Facebook page, YouTube page, Instagram. I'll give you any type of public contact information that they have for you to discuss that directly with them. Because considering the time period when I could have purchased my baby, could have been a year ago, a couple months ago, regardless, the artist could have been having a special going on. Like I've gotten a couple of my babies by doing a painted kit service, which that is a cheaper, quote unquote, way of getting a reborn done. That way the artist just paints the kit for you. You have to provide the kit or provide them with the money to get the kit. And normally that is either a bald baby. Sometimes you can get a painted hair baby or whatever, which that'll be a little bit extra. But that is one way to get a moderately priced or cheaper reborn done that way. But I've been fortunate enough with the artists that I've done that with, which is 2, that they went ahead and assembled the babies for me at no additional cost. And not all artists will do that. So you can't take my experience and think that's going to be necessarily your experience. So that's why I rather you speak to the artist yourself, you develop that relationship with them, and y'all agree on, you know, what you want and what you like and price point. Also, the prices could have increased since I've gotten my babies. There's some artists that increase their prices annually, you know, so, and I definitely don't want to misquote somebody, and I don't want to be in the middle of something where someone says, well, she told me that she only paid da 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 da. Why are you quoting me this much? No, I will not do that. And then there's also, I also feel that it should be private between the buyer and the seller, unless you can go on eBay and see what the baby actually sold for, you know. So unless it's publicly posted, I think that is definitely a private matter. So another way you can get cheaper, quote unquote, options, the paid and kit service, like I said, You can go on eBay. There are some babies.
Double little
sorry.
peaks at the top.
I was watching you guys' videos on
Right now,
YouTube
really
and on my TV,
potential
and it
what
looks
it
like
is.
it
I would
unpaused.
say it's a horse.
Okay, so there we go. That's Christina's Reborns. I'm watching her video on Zachary. So, where was I? Okay, you can go on eBay, and sometimes you can luck out on eBay, and a baby doesn't have that many bids, or it starts out really low, and you can get a good baby sometimes that way. Sometimes it's just the luck of the draw, you know. Sometimes a baby just moderately priced or cheaper for some reason on eBay. You just got to do your research. That's something that I've learned. When I started collecting, I did ask some people questions who seemed to be experienced in the hobby, but I also did my own research, because I take what they told me or showed me or whatever as, you know, a starting point. But then you also need to find out a little bit more on your own. And that's just the type of person I am. When I do something, I have to know everything about it, and I do my own research. That's just me. So, and what else? You can also ask the artist if they offer payment plans. That is a good option. There's some of them that only take a deposit and then allow you to make monthly payments. And if that's doable for you, then do that. But you do know that there's ramifications for that. I do believe that some buyers have ran into some issues where if they had a problem with the transaction, you won't get all of your money back because you paid in payments versus doing one full payment. So that's something you definitely need to research before you decide you want to go that option. You can also try to find a baby on a secondary market. I have done that as well. We as collectors, we like to change up our collection. You're always going to find somebody who is going to be adopting a baby out, you know. If you're not in such a rush, and I do advise you, take your time, please. These are investments. So there will be people that will be adopting their babies out. You can find it on YouTube. You can find it on various Facebook pages as well as on eBay. And it's a lot of times you will find a baby that will be half the price from what that person originally paid for it. So that is actually a good option, an awesome option. And I cannot stress enough, do your research, please. You know, whether it be on the sculpt, the baby, the artist, check the scammers pages. Don't just jump head over heels when somebody said, oh, I can make you a baby. Because I did notice in some of the Facebook pages, like if somebody said they're looking for A, B, and C, that a lot of people are jump on a thread and say, oh, I could do it, you know, or whatever. But do your research, please. Don't necessarily base your decision on price also. If you're looking for a certain quality in a baby, certain artistry in a baby, then definitely find out if that person can actually do all of that before you even pay them a dime. And ask a lot of questions. It's nothing wrong with asking questions. I know some people get labeled as time wasters, but I think you should ask questions, especially if you're looking to be a consumer. You know, just educate yourself, please. You need to know whether the full amount is due prior to the start of your baby, because there are some artists where they won't even start your baby until it's paid in full. Then there's some artists where you just pay a deposit and the remaining balance is not due until you see either work in progress pictures or the final baby. So you need to also know the time frame of completion. because some people have a long waiting list. Some people, I believe, have waited for over a year for a baby from certain artists if they're high profile and they're high demand. And if you're patient and you're willing to do that, then that's fine. But there's some people who are impatient and not willing to wait that amount of time. Then you need to figure out other options, you know, if it won't work for you. Also, find out whether you will receive work in progress pics. I know that some artists do not do that. I don't know, for whatever reason. For all custom and private orders that I've received, I have received work in progress pics, and then made decisions on whether I was okay with the complexion or whatever step they were at that time, or did I want more or less or what have you. So if you're fine with just trusting the artist all the way and just letting them do what they do, and you don't care about getting work in progress pics, I mean, that's okay too. And you need to also find out whether it's going to be a private order or a custom order, because there is a difference. Private orders, or when the artist has complete control over what they're going to do with that baby, except you may be able to say you want an ethnic or a Caucasian baby, maybe, but everything else creatively is done by the artist. Or whether a custom order, you can tell the artist you want X, Y, Z all the way from start to finish, you know, with your baby. And it's a lot of artists that are getting away from that because it limits their artistic ability, and I agree with that, because, and I found in my case, you would be disappointed because what you envision in your mind and what that artist envisioned are two different things, and it's hard for them to figure out what you're thinking and what you really want. So I just say, if you trust your artist enough, just tell them, you know, what complexion you want. If you want just a little something here or there, like beauty marks or something like that, you know, let them do their thing. That's how I see you would get your best baby, actually. So I hope that some of this has cleared up some questions that I've received, and I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing this little one. I think he's had enough. You hadn't seen him in a very long time, ladies. Nephew is still around. I just love, he is such a cuddle bug. And I'm recording off of my new phone. I want you guys, let me know down in the comment section, how do you like the quality of this video? Is it coming across okay, pretty clear? I hope so. And then I'll be putting him down. He's going back to sleep. I want to say thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.